Now we're going to take a look at calculating units of measure. Now, you guys have been converting back and forth between measurements for a long time. Although, in order to help us out, we need to make sure that we know as many of these things as we possibly can. So, we all know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, right? But there's a way of writing it that I'm going to show you so that makes life a little bit easier for you to deal with. So, I'm going to write it like this. 12 inches, 1 foot, 1 foot, 12 inches. Okay? These are the same things. Now, depending upon what we need to change into or change from is going to dictate which one of these that I have. Now, there's all kinds of these. You've got 1 hour, 60 minutes. 60 minutes, 1 hour. As long as you have these available for you, it makes life a lot easier for doing the calculations, and I'll show you what I mean now. Okay, I want to change 600 inches into feet. Now, it generally boils down to, do I divide? Do I multiply? What do I do? This is why I have those little things. Now, we got 12 inches over 1 foot or 1 foot over 12 inches. I'm starting off here with 600 inches. Write this as a fraction. Trust me, this is the easy way to go. Put it over 1, multiply. Whatever label is here, write it down here. That's the only rule that you got. So, I got inches. Well, do I have a way of converting inches into feet? Yes, I do. Do I have one of these that's in a fraction with inches on the bottom? Yes, I do. 1 foot over 12 inches. So I'm going to put 1 foot over 12 inches. Now, the wonderful thing about this is what's on top and what's on the bottom can cancel as long as they're the same. So, inches cancels with inches. Does 12 go into 600? And how many times does 12 go into 600? 50. So this goes into here, and I end up with 50. So that means 600 inches is the same as 50 feet. Having this kind of information, you write it down, it's a lot easier and faster than trying to do it in your head. 8 hours to minutes. Okay. Now, mind you, I didn't even bother taking a look at that I knew it was going into feet and worrying about them. My conversion went and brought it there for me right away. So if I've got 8 hours, put that over 1. Okay? Hours goes down here. Do I have something that changes hours into minutes? Well, back here. Hours is on the bottom, minutes on the top. 1 hour, minutes. Okay, that's easy enough. So that means 1 hour down here, 60 minutes up here. Hours cancels with hours. Well, gee, I can't go through and divide, can I? Multiply. What's 8 times 60? So I get 480 minutes. So this is an extremely simple way of dealing with things. You write it out, and you can transfer between different units of measure extremely quickly. Let's try some others. I want to convert yards into inches. Now this is square yards into square inches. Actually, it would be more helpful as if we were going from cubic yards to cubic inches. And you're dealing with cement very quickly. So, square yards into square inches. You could be looking at tiling a wall. So, 42. Now, this might seem a little silly to write it this way, but it makes life a lot easier. This is yards squared. So how many yards do I have there? I'm supposed to have two, right? One for length, one for width. So I'm going to write it like this. Yard, yard. Put it over 1. Now, question comes down to yards into inches. How many are in there? How many inches in a yard? How many yards in an inch? What? Okay. So I've got 1 yard is the same as 36 inches. I've got 36 inches is the same as 1 yard. Okay. So now, do I have a unit multiplier or these conversions that has it in the bottom? Yes. So I'm going to multiply it by 36 inches over 1 yard. How many of these do I need? I need 2. Why do I need 2? Because this is yards squared. I've got 2 labels of yards, so I need another one. Okay? So, this yards cancels with that yards. This yards cancels with this yards. So it's 42 times 36 times, it always helps if I actually write out 6, right? I missed that there, sorry. So 36 inches. Okay. So 42 times 42 times 36. That's it. Suppose I can take a calculator, do the same darn thing. 42 times 36 times 36. And I end up with 5, 4, 4, 3, 2. What's the label going to be? Inches. How many inches do I got? 2 squared. So I brought it right into what I needed. This is drop dead simple. As long as you have this idea of what the conversion is. Now, I've got the next one here. I want to convert 3,000 seconds. Put it over 1. Now, the only thing that I know from before is that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, right? Do I have a conversion that tells me how many seconds is something else? Okay, so I've got 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Or 60 seconds is 1 minute. Now again, if you've got your little book, you got these little conversions written down, when they pop up, you write it down. When you need to create one, you might have to just look it up. How many cups are in a pint? How many pints in a gallon? All these little conversions are necessary. So I've got 300 seconds. Seconds goes into minutes. Notice I haven't put any numbers in yet. Am I where I want to be? Can I change seconds into minutes and minutes into hours? So I can put minutes down here and hours goes up here. So there were 60 seconds in 1 minute, 60 minutes in 1 hour. As long as the labels cancel and you get the label that you want, you've got your numbers in the right spot. So now this is 3,000 divided by 60 divided by another 60, right? So let's see, that turns out to be 3,000 divided by 36. Boom, divide that by 36. And I end up with some really ugly looking number when you do it on the calculator. Wait, did I say 36? My brain is going ahead too fast, sorry. 3,000 divided by 60, divide that by 60. Right? You get a weird decimal number, right? What's 60 times 60? What's 6 times 6? 3,600. See, that's where my 36 was coming from. If I write it this way, 3,000 over 3,600 and I got it in hours. Can I cancel this 0 with that 0? Can I cancel that 0 with that 0? Can I cancel this going down to 10 and this going down to 12? Can I go and cancel this thing down to 5 and this thing down to 6? Just fractions. Little canceling. So this would be 5/6 of an hour. Or if you like, 0.83 repeating. Oh. That's how it turns out. It's not difficult to do. Once you get these things set up, it's easy. It's also very similar to the same thing that you use in chemistry for balancing equations. Okay. So, I want to convert 50 feet per second to miles per hour. How am I going to do that? Well, if I write out the label, I get 50 feet over 1 second, correct? Now, I'm supposed to convert this into miles per hour. Do I know anything about how many feet are in a mile? Well, I happen to know that 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet. Okay? 5,280 feet, 1 mile. So you've got another unit multiplier to work with. So, I'm going to work with feet first. Feet goes here, miles go here. So that means 5,280 and 1 mile. Okay? Does that change this into miles? Well, what labels do I have left? I have miles on top and I have seconds on the bottom. So this just changed it into miles per second for those of you paying attention. Now, I really need this in miles per what? Hour. So I got to get hours down on the bottom. So now, let's see. We change seconds into minutes, correct? We change minutes into hours. So that gives me 60 seconds, 1 minute. 60 minutes, 1 hour. Do my labels cancel out? Seconds cancels with seconds, minutes cancels with minutes, and I'm left with hours. So my final answer here is going to turn this thing into miles over hours. Okay? What do we get? Well, what's 50 times 6 times 6? Or what's 5 times 6? 30. What's 30 times 6? 180. 180 followed by how many zeros? 1, 2, 3. 180,333. How many hours? Well, what number's on the bottom? 5280. That's the only number left, right? So does this really come down to taking 180,000 miles, dividing it by 5,280 hours? The answer is yes. So, grab the calculator. Take 180,000 divided by 5280, and I end up with 34.09 miles per hour. Seem rather odd. Well, think about it. If you're going 50 feet in a second, okay, 50 feet per second, how many seconds are there in a minute? 60. So would that be 50 times 60? Okay. And how many are those going to be into a minute? You'd multiply by another 60 again, right? So that actually moves you up to 180,000. Okay, but our label's in miles, but that's why we got to divide. So you're not going to get these things to come out nice and even all the time and have some kind of ugly numbers in here. So sometimes what we have to do is worry about how accurate our answer is, how precise our answer is. So that brings us to these ideas. Accuracy refers to how close it corresponds to the actual measurement being made. Precision talks about how many significant digits that we've got. Okay? So, we do got some rules for this. Non-zero digits are significant. Okay? That means zero digits are insignificant. Okay? Now, how many significant digits do we need? We generally want 4. Okay? 4 things that aren't zeros. Now, if I have zeros in there, we need 6 all total. So, I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros, and I have 3 digits that are significant. Just the way it is. Leading zeros are not significant, so 2. Zeros after the leading digit, also to the right, 4. It really does depend upon what you're working with. Generally, when we're rounding to 2 places behind the decimal point is what we're looking at. That's our precision. So, adding into it, here's another set of rules. Basically, it says when adding or subtracting, the answer should have the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the fewest decimal places. When multiplying or dividing, again, it should have the fewest. So, if I am looking at this one here, I got A. I got 5.38, 6.495, and 0.5. What should I round it to? Should I round it to 1 place, 2 places, or 3 places? Well, the rule said when adding or subtracting, the answer should have the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the fewest. So, I got 1 place, 2 place, or 3 place. Which one should it be? 1 place, because that's as accurate as you can. This 0.5, I don't know if it's 0.501, 0.495. I have no idea what it is. I just know it's going to be 0.5. So, we would take the calculator, add them up, and what do we get? I suppose I could do it up here too. Grab the calculator. And so we're looking at, we got 5.38 plus 6.495 plus 0.5. I get 12.375. So if I'm going to round that to how many decimal places? 1. It should be 12.1. 1. So we end up with 12.4. Now, does that rule apply for the multiplication? Did it? When multiplying or dividing, the answer should have the same number of significant digits as the measurement with the fewest. So again, we have to use all of the numbers that are provided for us to do the multiplying. So I got to take 2.09 multiplied by 0.05. Do I got to put the 0 in? No, because it doesn't have any mathematical meaning to us. Times 303. Enter. So, it said the fewest, right? Fewest significant digits. Which one has the fewest significant digits? 209, 303, or 0.050? 303. So that means when I'm looking at this, this would actually be rounded to what? What should the answer be? 32. It's not all that difficult to have to worry about dealing. So, what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a few moments here, and I want you to do A and B. I'll give you a minute here and do A and B. I had to get the random out of it, or random into it. So, Mr. Anderson, 720 inches is the same as how many feet? And that just simply turns out to be 720 inches over 1, multiplied by feet over inches. 12 goes down here, 1 goes there, cancel, 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 cancel. 60 feet it is. Okay. So, let's see, we need to go through, do the next one here. Hours to minutes. So, Damien, 6 hours is how many minutes? 360? Well, let's see. That would be 6 hours over 1. Hours, minutes, 60, 1, cancel, cancel, 6 times 6. There we go, 360 minutes. Good. Okay, I'm going to give you another minute or so here, and I want you to take care of, do C. Okay, so let's give Micah. What'd you get? You don't know. Why don't you know? Is your what? Oh. Well, what'd you write down? Oh. So what should I write down? Well, do I have to write down 52? I got to put yards down, right? How many of those labels do I need? 2. Yards, yards, put that over 1. Multiply. So what label should I put down here now? Well, what label's here? What label's here? Yard, so I put yard down here. I need 2 of them, so I put 2 of them down, yard and yard. Now, what am I changing this into? Do I have a conversion that goes from yards to inches? And what would that be? Okay, so I have 36 inches and 1 yard. 36 inches and 1 yard. By going and having these things set up like that makes life a little bit easier. So, yards cancels with yards, yards cancels with yards. So now it's just going to be 52 times 36 times 36. And Micah, what do you get when you take 52 times 36 and 36? 67392, and that would be inches squared. So, let's see, I'm going to give you guys another minute, and I want you to do D. Do D. And of course, actually do it, because you just never know what might call on you. Alrighty, so where are we at? Mr. Garthus. So, how many hours do you get when you convert 7,000 or 2,700 seconds to hours? What? Why? Did you do it? Okay. So, in that case, tell me what you wrote down.